This is Sexy Funny Raw, where we chat all about the world of sex, from dating and relationships all the way to the adult industry itself. I'm Silvia Saige, and this is my Pornspective, answering all the questions you weren't even brave enough to ask Google. Get ready, because Sexy Funny Raw starts now.
What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Sexy Funny Raw. I am your host, Silvia Saige. I am joined in studio by our co-host, Dr. Eddie, giving us his public health perspective. Thank you, Dr. Eddie. And this month, it is my pleasure to introduce my friend, colleague, fellow comedian, the creator of the Roast Battle on Comedy Central, Mr. Brian Moses. Very happy to be here.
I am very happy to be here. This is Black History Month. This is...
I know.
Yeah, you guys, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was Black History Month. You were the one who told me that, and it worked out very well for us. I mean, I knew February was Black History Month. I just didn't put the 2 and 2
It's my favorite 2 weeks
together.
of the year.
The 2 weeks, yeah. That's what you get, the shortest month. That's what they'll give you.
So, it's glad you guys are having me for, just this whole 2 weeks of coming in.
We'll give you 4 weeks. Look at us. We just doubled the month for you.
Black lives do matter on this
They
show.
do. They do. This week we are talking pheromones and attraction. So one thing that I learned, well, let's just get into this. Do smells really attract us? Do they?
They do, consciously and subconsciously, for sure.
They absolutely do. So pheromones are obviously detected through smell, but they're also through sweat, saliva, and urine.
Ooh.
Yeah. Did you realize that?
Yes.
Pee fetishes are a whole fucking thing. I mean,
that sounds like a double entendre or a pun.
Right. I've known pee fetishes were a thing,
thing.
but I didn't know that like the smell of someone's urine could be attracting you or not, or unattracting you to someone.
For some, it does, for sure.
Well,
We are animals. I mean,
Yeah. But we are the only species that has like the lowest level of scent. Like all other species have this like heightened level of
because everybody
smell.
else is like on the ground. They got 4 legs. You know,
Yeah.
we're bipeds. We're on 2 legs. We can't smell all that shit.
I wonder if like if you're like deaf or blind, if your smell. I mean, obviously they tell you that your other senses like enhance.
I think that's a myth, actually.
Is it?
I do
really?
think that's a myth. I think
my whole life I've thought this, and that's a myth?
I think you become more accustomed to using your other ones better, perhaps, but they don't like enhance.
They don't?
We're not like Daredevil, where like you have sonic hearing.
I feel like you just told me Santa Claus isn't real. Like, what the fuck?
What?
Have you not heard this your entire life?
Right, if I'm blind and like my sense of smell is bigger, maybe. Like if I'm blindfolded, I mean, that's a great placebo.
Okay, but you're telling me that's not necessarily the case?
I mean, my understanding is that it's a myth. The others don't improve or magnify. You just rely on them more, and you become more attuned to paying attention.
I really want you
That
to
would
be
make more
wrong.
sense.
God damn it.
You become more adaptive.
Absolutely.
Right.
We're pretty adaptive, for sure.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, look at me. I adapted. Look at it. Came out stronger on the other side. Okay, so I might mispronounce this because I always do, so correct me if I'm wrong. Androsterone?
Yep.
Androsterone.
Yes.
Androsterone is a human pheromone that may make men sexually appealing to women. Listen to this, Brian. Okay. Only 10% of men secrete an abundant amount of this pheromone, making them considered to be more desirable amongst the population.
Oh, you mean gods?
You're welcome.
Which is crazy to me. So you're telling me that 10% of men are just really like laying it on there. They're just soaking up pussy, and then or ass, whatever they want, I guess.
Right.
To each their own. And then like the rest of these 90% of the human population are just like, can you maybe want to fuck me? No?
I think abundant amount is probably the key word there.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about
Soaking up pussy. That's what I'm talking about.
extra, right?
Okay.
I said
Them
the
whatever
90%.
they want. I mean, like, they just walk into a room and it's just like people just want to fuck the shit out of them.
That's
There
what
are
it sounds-
those, though. There, I mean,
I'm
we
one
know
of
many of those.
them.
They
No, I'm just
exist.
kidding.
And I mean, that is, those are him.
Those are him. So are we
Walks
talking
in like,
like the
I'm him.
David Beckhams? Like that's who I imagine. Like a David Beckham
Right.
of the world is among the 10%
It's
secreting.
really interesting
Secreting.
that
I also love that word.
You went to a white celebrity as your first choice because how media represents these things dictates what we're attracted to before we even smell it.
Okay, Tyson Bedford. Tyson Bedford is among the 10.
Sure, probably.
He's in my 10.
I mean, these are objectively attractive men. I mean, like, that's not saying like they walk into a room and you're just like, oh my God, yeah, what is that? You just take your clothes off, right?
I need to fuck that person.
Yeah.
What percentage of those hyper attractive, or what media has taught us is hyper attractive?
Right.
What percentage of them are that 10%? They might not correlate.
Dude, what if it's Ted Cruz?
Right.
I mean, like, that's why he keeps getting voted. I mean, like, people just walks in a room and just like, I just want to fuck the shit out of Ted Cruz.
Maybe it's because I haven't been in the room with Ted Cruz.
He's got androstrum, whatever it is.
That's definitely not what the interviews have said.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's good
Nobody's
to hear.
smelling, yeah.
That's good to hear.
The Rock, probably. That's why he had that. Do you smell what he's cooking? Yeah.
Ah, The Rock has it, and he knows he has it.
Right.
That's why.
Yeah, he knows.
We're placing judgments on some of these things based on no facts.
But because we want to fuck
assuming.
them.
Oh, well, that's different.
That's what I'm basing it on. If I want to fuck them, they're probably in that 10%.
Androstrum. I don't know what it's like. Yeah.
But until you've smelled them all.
Yeah, I got to start smelling more men, is apparently what needs to happen.
I think that's
Yeah,
a fair
10%.
statement.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's millions. I mean, that's 10%. There's a few tens of millions of men who have that.
A few men.
There's billions of men on the planet.
Right.
There's few good men. That's what I wrote a whole movie about it.
Right.
That's what
There's
that was
millions.
about.
Yeah, they all live in Wakanda. Or Narnia, or
Narnia is probably more like it.
I like Wakanda. That's an option, actually.
Okay, so androsterone is a human pheromone that is produced in adrenal glands, testes, and in ovaries, and released through, once again, the sweat, the skin, the hair, and the urine. So women also produce and release the pheromone at a rate 4 times less than men, which kind of like makes a little bit of a sense of why we always put like men up on a pedestal and kind of like have just like created women as like a second class citizen. Whoa!
I think that's a loaded statement based
it?
on history, the patriarchy, religion.
Maybe it's based on pheromones this whole time.
But that's certainly a possibility. I think it's certainly a possibility, but
it seems like some Animal Kingdom shit too. It's
That's what
like
I'm saying.
because in other kingdoms there's
like Wakanda.
Yeah, like Wakanda.
Bring it back to Wakanda.
I mean, like even like fish, insects, those kind of things. It's like women dominate, right?
Yes.
Women eat men. Women after men have sex with them, like they die, right? Or they eat them.
Yes.
Like it really is about them. And I think men are holding on for dear life because you really don't need us.
Yes.
So we actually need these things like pheromones and game and
You think God was like, we gotta give
in the animal
we gotta give
kingdom,
men a little bit of an upper hand here.
actually a little bit, yeah.
evolutionary wise, the males of the species are often the prettier ones. If we're talking about ducks, or if we're talking,
You're
like,
right,
a
birds
bunch of
and
them for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So the males will have the plumage.
Yeah.
The males will have, like all of those things, and so that's.
I mean, you
probably
guys
a
got
piece of it,
dicks.
too.
Dicks
Yes.
are pretty cool.
They're
Not pretty.
I mean, I think dicks are pretty.
All right.
I like that you can swing them around. You can hang towels on them.
Yes, we can do those things. That's
Some of my favorite things about dicks.
You make it sound like we can like rope climb with that.
I mean,
Maybe in Wakanda, but I don't know, not here.
I mean, they're cool because the maintenance is much less than the ulterior.
that is the truth.
Right?
So much less maintenance. It's crazy, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like that's like I don't have to think about that once a month.
Yeah, no. And it's not even just once a month I think about my vagina. I think about my vagina every single day in its health. Like, I taste and smell my own pussy daily just to make sure we're still good. Like, it is a real, I mean, I'm 38. I work in porn. I've worked in medicine. Like, if anyone should know a pussy, it's got to be me. And I still struggle on a regular basis. They are hard. Anyway, moving on. All right, so let's talk about women, because we also produce a sex pheromone called copulin, in addition to the androsterone. Thank you. That was so hard words. Okay. However, the pheromone seems to correlate to women's menstrual cycle during higher amounts during the menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
So that would tell you that is kind of giving off a female scent to men going, impregnate me.
Right.
Now is the time.
Now is the time.
Yeah. And I will say, as a female, during ovulation, we are so much hornier. I have not ever talked to a woman that doesn't go, oh my God, I'm just so much hornier when it comes to my period. Like, I constantly want to fuck on my period. And I always tell people the blood is like lube. It's just a natural lube. Just don't look down. Don't look down. We're fine. Everyone's fine. We have showers.
Interesting.
Cute manipulation, by the way.
It also comes through some of these hormones manifest in the smegma that are produced by both men and women.
Yes.
Right?
Do you know what smegma is, Brian?
Yes.
Okay, it's the little juice that comes out of your dick. Okay, go. Okay, go.
I thought that was pre-cum.
Schmegma.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If you're uncircumcised, often it becomes like a white coating, and you have to be a little bit more thoughtful.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but other than that,
a little more thoughtful. Okay.
With your cleaning.
Right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really seen. Yeah. Wow. White. The ultimate killer.
Well, and for women as well, women produce it all the time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like in the adult film industry, it's often
Wiped away.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't like to have that natural whiteness that comes in a woman's uterus. We literally clean it out with like water. I have quit doing it since you've been on my show, though, and I've just been been like, this is my pussy, and this is what it looks like.
Let's go. This is me.
This
I mean,
is
it's
it.
a really wonderful self-cleaning machine.
It is. Yeah.
And so when you're doing douching and stuff like that, it really throws off the vaginal
It does.
microbiome, and it creates all sorts of potential infections and stuff for something that it would deal with
On its
itself.
own.
Right.
That's why I stopped.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. Good
It's
for you.
better. It's better for your uterus. Good for you.
What about anal douching?
That's a whole different story.
I still
Right.
do
Different
that.
hole. Not a
Yeah.
lubricated hole.
And so then it depends, right?
It doesn't have the same self cleaning as a uterus does.
Trust me, I know.
It does not, and it really depends on what type of douching you're doing when it comes to something like that, right? Because you can go into the lower intestines, and then it becomes more difficult to do all of that. But if you're only talking about the rectum, then that's pretty easy to do and efficient, but it depends on the position of the douching.
Okay. What kind of position do I need? Like a
You don't
cowboy
want a
or
downward
reverse cowboy?
dog.
Okay.
Downward dog would then flush into your lower intestine,
Right.
and then that's where it gets more complicated.
Yeah.
So you actually are fine, like mostly standing if you're doing that kind of douching, because you're only trying to clear out the rectum.
I just do it right over the toilet. That's my go-to.
Yeah, it's the people that
Or the shower.
There's often sometimes some people will do like downward dog in the shower and try and be like it's a whole process, but it creates.
You're telling me they get on there. To me, a downward dog is like the full yoga, like
Correct.
legs up.
No, you got to reverse cowboy that thing.
But who's putting it in their butt in that position?
They're doing it themselves. It's pretty common, and then it actually flushes into the lower intestine.
So everybody needs a partner.
I mean,
Well, I mean, douching is one of those, especially anal douching,
Yeah.
is one of those like super sensitive things that even
Yeah.
partners
I don't want
wanna
anybody
see.
around.
Right.
I always tell people, I'm like, you need to give me like 40 minutes and you go far, far away because there are going to be sounds coming out of this bathroom that are not going to turn you on.
and-
You won't want to fuck my ex if you have to hear what I'm about to do.
When you're douching as well, some water is still there, so
Yeah.
actually some time is necessary to make sure that all of the water comes out too. Right?
Yeah.
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 But position matters, everybody.
It does. Yeah. I get on all fours to put it in sometimes, but I don't like stay in that position.
Like from a medical standpoint, when they want you to do an enema, that is the position that's recommended.
Right.
All
right,
fours,
right.
okay.
But that's an enema.
Correct.
Because in an enema, it's medicated. So the enema is
It
like.
doesn't have to be. It could be saline too. Like
Yeah.
if you're having surgery or
Well, right.
a colonoscopy or any of those things where it doesn't need to be medicated, the position is usually like a downward dog-ish.
Yeah.
It says it on the box.
Yeah.
To all my anal douche players.
That's right.
It's important. Do
It
it.
is. It is important. Okay. So people who produce
Like even if I'm not using it, if I'm just defecating, just for that use only.
are you going to just clean out your shit? That's what you want it for?
No, I'm saying because usually when I hear about the anal douche, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go party tonight,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm saying if I'm not doing that, right? If I'm just
Yeah.
like this virgin ass kind of a thing,
Yeah.
is anal douching? Would you guys suggest?
I mean, I would say so. I would recommend more like a colonoscopy, right? No, to like clean you out.
You would recommend it?
No, as like
you
a
my
cleanse.
doctor?
As like a full cleanse. I wouldn't recommend just cleaning out just that if you're not using it for a sexual purpose.
If you're not
right?
using it for a sexual purpose, I don't necessarily think it's necessary.
That's what I was asking.
And what I would say is that...
But a colonoscopy will get you a great release of like all the buildup.
It will, for
That's
sure.
what I'm saying.
That's what's up.
But not on the daily.
No.
Right.
But I'm saying there's really no point in cleaning just that out if you're not going to have anal sex.
Correct.
The only reason to clean just that cavity out is because you're going to take a dick. Other than that, if you wanted to just clean out your system.
Or whatever the case may be. It doesn't be a...
You can take toys in your ass or cucumbers or whatever you want.
Cucumbers, we talked about that last time.
No produce?
But we did say you could put condoms on your fruit or veggies.
Yeah.
And you can fuck them that way.
Yeah, you don't want to get like, some eggplant giving you some, chlamydia. Like, where you been, bro?
The grocery store. I was at the grocery store.
But the grocery store is also a lot of people touching things,
Of
a lot
course,
of bacteria. You don't want anything near, especially the rectum.
Yeah.
Some slutty produce out there.
Yeah. You don't know where they've been.
Manhandled or woman-handled by everyone.
Clearly.
Nice. Look at the patriarchy already tossing on women already.
Yeah, I know.
Doctor.
You got us coming in and we're just taking those cucumbers right home. I fucked a lot of cucumbers in my day, I'm not going to lie. So I just feel like that's a part of like being an adult actress.
I mean, what's the best fruit to fuck or vegetable to fuck?
Cucumbers.
That's the best one.
You have 100%. They're like a dick.
Okay. All right.
Size-wise,
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And you can get them in any shape and size you want, really.
Because the banana's not really right.
Or like a pickle with warts.
Ribbed for her pleasure?
No?
Who are you? No.
No pickle with warts? All right.
No.
You've seen pickles with like little bumps on them.
Of course I have. It doesn't go, ooh, I want to put it in me. Like,
But a cute.
I don't even want to eat the ones with warts on them because I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. The cucumber would be the most phallic,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, and an eggplant would be like, oh, you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's like
What
short and
side
fat.
do you start with on the eggplant?
I mean, you got to start small, go big, right? Ease your way into it.
Think about that, doctor.
We certainly use...
Because that would be, because you could take the stem.
Right, but...
The stem is going to cut
Anal, I'm saying anal, you could take the stem, right?
I mean...
We are off the rails.
Oh, right. All right. Right.
This is
Okay.
medical talk.
This is. It's very medical. Okay. So obviously people who have an elevated level of pheromones tend to have sex more often, feel more confident, and sexually attractive and bond with others. Here's the question. Can you increase your pheromone production? And how? How do we become the 10% of people producing this?
I don't know if
amount?
we can produce more.
Okay.
We can certainly help it along, right?
Okay.
And so what the literature said when I was looking through it, surprisingly, was showering less.
Less?
Because it's sweat.
You want
and
your natural
saliva.
smells.
You do.
I've heard this.
Yeah. And so some people are
I've heard
extra attracted to it, and it's also its own fetish for sure.
No, what? There's a dirty girl fetish. Men love dirty girls. I bet that's it.
Like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis talk about this.
They do.
Yeah.
Dude, what?
Not showering, absolutely. Or showering very limited. And I think Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan were also had those conversations before where they were only bathing or bathing specific important parts.
Just these sexy, funky people.
Right.
Interesting. I mean, I will say, I will just watch certain parts. Like right before I have sex, I'm like, okay, let me jump in the shower and just rinse off my coochie really quick and get back in there. But I wouldn't I don't know. I still need a shower. We were talking about this before the show. Tony, the studio producer, I'm like sometimes I'm at least a 2 shower a day girl, sometimes 3. So am I like ruining it? This is why...
I don't think you have a problem with people being attracted to you, Miss Saige.
All right, that's fair. All right, I can keep showering. We're good. You guys, on the other hand, I'm
Well,
just kidding.
there's quite a bit of literature talking about how we're so hyper-bathed nowadays. There's a book I read recently with some students called Clean, and about how we're constantly washing away those dirts, and it impacts our immune system.
Right.
Like the kids are so clean now that they're not exposed to bacteria and things that we should be exposed to as we're growing up.
Yeah.
And it creates these problems later in life for adults as well.
Yeah.
And so there's maybe a small movement to shower less.
Interesting.
But it certainly is a movement.
Shower less, fuck more. You heard it here first, guys. That's
I like showers. I really like soap. I like the
Same.
smell of clean.
Same.
And so that's a challenge.
Right, and they're also not as active as they were back in the day, right? Like nobody's like muckraking and like building, all these things.
I mean, but they were having like 12 kids, so they were clearly fucking. So maybe dirtiness is the way to go. I mean,
do we really consider it dirty?
I mean,
because we say dirty, but is sweat dirty? I don't think it is, right? And so when we're talking about like body odor and stuff, that's bacteria. That's not sweat. Sweat doesn't smell bad. It's the bacteria. Yeah. And so it's the bacteria that creates a body odor. And so that's the problem, not so much sweating. Sweating itself doesn't.
Interesting.
If anything, it makes people hornier, I guess.
Well, you have it here. The statistics have spoken. Okay. So pheromones are not just for sexual attraction. So pheromones have been shown in other studies, like perhaps a mother and her newborn infant. So in this case, they would place basically breast on each side of the baby. One would be the mother's breast, and then one would be the breast of another female. And the baby would always instinctively, 100% of the time, go to its mother. So it is actually getting the baby's pheromones so it can smell its own mother. So it's outside of just a sexual thing. Our smells and our pheromones are really benefiting us in life in general.
Right, like that at home scent, like, oh, it smells like home, or it smells like grandma's house kind of a thing. So you get nostalgia from those things. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, smell really triggers memory in really, really strong ways.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that are tied most closely together.
Yeah.
So those odors, those smells, that feeling of home, like that smell of home, brings you back to memories that you might have not even considered in a really long time.
Yeah, for the longest time, I hated the smell of toilet paper because it always reminded me of doing cocaine. Because I had an ex-boyfriend and we would do a lot of cocaine together, and he would always be like, don't blow your nose. So instead of blowing my nose, he would just say, just take the toilet paper and rim your nose with it. And so the smell of toilet paper instantly takes me back to my cocaine days. So yeah, smells do just bring you back to home is basically the point.
And we got rimming in there too. I didn't think we get rimming in the show, but we got it.
I really like the smell of 409, actually.
Interesting.
It smells like really, really, really clean.
Yeah.
It's not like Clorox or anything, but it actually makes me feel like safe and clean.
Interesting.
Okay. Pine Sol is, I mean, like, man, if I could excrete Pine Sol, that was like something weird. I just loved it. It got to me so hard.
I hate the smell of Pine Sol.
Really? Yeah, no, people, exactly. Some people just hate it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it turns me on.
Interesting. How do you feel about gasoline? I feel like that's a love or hate for people.
I'm not on the fence about it. I'm like, I'm with it. Yeah, my dad loves cars, so it's like, it's a nostalgia thing. Gas. Yeah.
My brother always loved it. He's like, oh, I love the smell of gas. I love spilling it on myself. I'm like, if I spill gasoline on myself, I immediately have to go wash it off. Like I cannot handle it.
You also should.
You should.
Yeah. Also true. We were also children. My brother's like, yeah. Mother never stopped.
There might be something there.
Yeah.
Right.
I think there might be something there.
Loves gas. He's like, oh man, you know, I love matches and arson.
Right. He actually does love those things also. It could be a problem. It could.
Yeah.
Okay. So pheromones have also been shown to affect your mood. So the scent secreted by hormones through perspiration, that's the word, can raise another person's anxiety levels when detected smell. So when you're talking about like smelling fear, we are legitimately putting out different odors into the room when we are scared, and it will make other people around us even scared. So that actual smell of fear is a real thing, and I did not know that until reading this paperwork.
Also, our canine familiars usually, like our dogs and our cats, they can usually sense those things as well too, because they have a significantly more enhanced
and the fear. Yeah.
Right. And so whatever you're feeling, even if it's sadness, they can always pick up on those things, but they pick it up through pheromones and odor.
I mean, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because you even see, like, you've heard of, like, death cats, where they put these cats in these nursing homes, and they will always go up to the people who are about to die because they can smell that they're dying.
That's so interesting.
I know. That's crazy.
No, I feel like that's real.
It is.
I mean, obviously, I'm looking. Yes, the study is telling me it's real. But now I'm saying, like, oh, that makes sense, because I know when I get super anxious or I'm like super annoyed by something, mainly anxious, like one armpit will smell like worse than the other one, kind of a thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, I'm just like that. Like, oh,
that's
it's just
your scared
one.
smell. That's your anxious smell.
It is. It is. It smells like a sandwich. It hurts me.
Does it also make you hungry?
No, because it's like a sandwich I wouldn't eat. I'm like,
it's only a ham and cheese, but with no lettuce.
Oh no, there's no. It's just, oh God, there's no. That's not the kind of sandwich I'm talking about. I hope not. Old ham and cheese would hurt me.
Oh, gross. Gross. Okay. Okay, let's keep going here. Wait, that's it. We're good. All right. Anything else, Brian, you need to add?
Yes.
Any extra
Roast
pheromones?
Battle League. We are Roast Battle League. Check out Jam in the Van on YouTube, and you can check out the Roast Battle League. You'll see LA versus Austin coming up soon.
Yes.
But we'll have episodes every month. We're like the UFC of shit talking.
Yes, and it is so fun. I love coming
You're
to
a
the roast
veteran.
battle. I've done it 3 times myself. It is a hard as a performer, but as a someone as a civilian sitting in the audience, it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite shows
So
to
much
watch.
fun, yeah.
And it's every Tuesday here in Los Angeles at the Comedy Store, and then
or just
on
go
Comedy
online.
Central.
Yeah, we're gonna start premiering those. Like a pay-per-view event kind of a thing. So just check out any Roast Battle YouTube or Jam in the Van YouTube.
Yes,
Roast Battle League.
That's it. All right, guys. And thank you, Dr. Eddie, for your public health advice. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Until next time, adios.